In this video, we're gonna try building a full-on, solid, real Bitcoin mining rig, go through the whole entire process, and I'll reveal exactly how much I paid for all of the parts involved, and exactly how much we end up making with it. All in order to figure out if mining cryptocurrency is a good opportunity, and also, in this video, I may have an exclusive interview with Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin, or maybe I don't. Only one way to find out. Right, so first off, I'm not a crypto channel, not a crypto expert by any means, but from my understanding, building a Bitcoin mining rig is the same exact thing as building a custom PC. Only difference is you add in a bunch of graphic cards, which I've never built a PC. Closest thing I've done is connect my laptop to this monitor through an HDMI cable. So we're starting from scratch here and giving a real honest opinion on what this whole process is like and whether it's even worth it or not. And now apparently when you're mining Bitcoin, you're just using software on a computer to solve complex math problems and are being rewarded Bitcoin for doing so, and you're also approving or verifying Bitcoin transactions. So miners get paid for generating new Bitcoin by solving these problems, and then also when they verify transactions, they get a little tiny piece of the pie. I believe that's how Bitcoin mining works in a nutshell, but you need a pretty powerful setup to solve these equations as they keep getting harder as more people join in on the network and start mining. So there's this upfront cost for the actual setup, but then running the rig takes a good amount of electricity. Back in the early days of Bitcoin, you could mine a couple hundred Bitcoins just on like a cheap spare laptop. Whereas today I read somewhere online that it would take you like 100 years to mine one Bitcoin on the same laptop. Again, because more miners joined in the network and those math problems automatically, the way Bitcoin is built, became more complex. So at this point, it takes a pretty serious and expensive rig to make any significant amount of money mining Bitcoin. So those are my two main concerns. How long will it take for me to make the upfront money I'm putting into this bag? And then how much the electricity will actually run me? Can this even be profitable in the current landscape? Normally, I would head to YouTube to find all of this out, which I already slightly did, but my brother's homie Richard apparently has a crazy nasty mining setup at his house, so we're gonna check that out and see if he can help answer some of my questions. And I'm not saying Richard is Satoshi Nakamoto, but I've never seen them in the same room at the same time, and Mans does know a suspicious amount about Bitcoin. So is this the first interview with the creator of Bitcoin? I didn't say that. Who said that? Could be. I don't know. Okay, so I'm here with Richard. Thank you so much for showing me around your rigs. You have the one that's in the video, and then you have two more of basically the same one, right?
Yep.
Okay, so how much did those 3 rigs cost you in total?
Currently, I spent around 15,000 on those 3 rigs.
On the 3 rigs?
Yeah.
Sheesh, okay. And how much do they make per day, like on average?
On average, right now, I'm making about $160 per day.
Pre-electricity or after? Pre-electricity?
Yeah.
What's like the electricity cost?
Approximately $15 a day.
Hold on, let's crunch some numbers here.
Yeah.
So we're talking about $150 per day?
Yeah.
Minus 15,000 divided by 135. So 111 days and you're completely profitable.
Yep.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And then you're making $135 just completely passively?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
I don't have to do anything.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then what happens if the price of Bitcoin falls or rises? How does that affect the mining?
I mine at the same rate. So every day I'm mining 0.01 Bitcoin or 0.02 Bitcoin. My rigs are going to mine the same amount. But if the price of Bitcoin fluctuates, the price may go up or down, but I don't care because I'm still mining 0.01 every day.
1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
For the fiat folks out there, dollar amount wise, if the price of Bitcoin goes up, you're mining more per day with the same setup?
No, so I'm mining the same amount, but,
right, but it's more money, right?
More money. So
okay.
Let's say I'm mining 0.01 of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin doubles, right? So basically, my profitability is gonna go from 150 to 300.
So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay, yeah. You don't rock with Bitcoin?
Oh, I do rock with Bitcoin.
Hey, we rock you with Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Subscribe, show us some love.
Hey, you heard it here first, folks. Smash that like button.
Next day.
Good morning, bless up.
Welcome back to YouTube. This is now the next day. So much knowledge was gained talking to Richard. If you guys are interested in his future ventures, I'll drop a link to his YouTube channel in the description below, right above the link to my dropshipping course. But seriously, driving home, my mind was racing, so hyped on this whole concept, so many potential benefits of getting into this business. But the big problem is, like I was saying, to mine Bitcoin, you need to build a computer and then attach a bunch of graphic cards to it. Now, these are also called GPUs and are incredibly difficult to come by right now. There's a huge demand for them and a shortage in supply. So if you want to get one for retail prices, you have to pay for a bot to buy it for you. It automatically will check out whenever they come in stock somewhere online. Pretty much no other way around it if you want retail prices. Or second option, you buy these GPUs from a reseller, but you will have to pay quite the premium, which is what I'll be doing for this video. I was able to order all of the parts for this build online very easily, but when it came to the GPUs, I found a local reseller on Craigslist, met up with them, and purchased an RTX 3060 for $800 and a 3060 Ti for $1,200. So $2,000 total for the two GPUs.
Yo, dip.
Nah, I'm the one that got finessed though. I paid resale.
Always buy local.
Sheesh, support your local scalper.
And then the rest of the parts, we're talking power supply, CPU, different cords, fans, the motherboard, the frame, all of that combined ran me $1,145. Could have probably gotten that well under $1,000 if I shopped around and didn't pay for expedited shipping to get it all here on time for this video. But thing is, on the $1,100 base, I can fit up to 6 graphic cards. I got 2 just to get things up and rolling, test it out. For the other 4, I'm gonna try to shop around and actually hopefully finesse my way into some better deals, or at least figure out which kind make the most sense for me to buy. For now though, all the parts have come in, so we're gonna try to get this sucker up and running. I got some coffee, a good attitude, and Richard hopefully coming by to help me out. So the first part of this build was to assemble the frame. No biggie, just on some IKEA furniture type vibes. I paid for an overpriced special frame for this rig. Looking back, I could have just bought a metal shelf for a third of the price and used that for like 5 different rigs. But from there, we mounted the motherboard onto the frame and then all of the parts to the motherboard. I won't go into too much detail here. There's a lot of really good hour-long type videos online that can take you through the whole process step by step. After that, mounted the GPUs. These are the important part. And then, moment of truth.
What's supposed to happen?
It's supposed to turn on.
Yeah, so it turns out the lack of turning on was simply due to the switch being plugged in wrong. After we got that figured out, the setup booted right up. Next step was installing Windows, then a bunch of updates, and finally, the mining software. I'm using NiceHash, which by far is not the most efficient way to mine, but definitely the easiest. You basically make an account and press start. It's finished. Between mounting everything, building the frame, some troubleshooting, installing all the Windows updates, and then getting the software running, overcooking the GPUs, the whole process kind of took all day. Pretty fried right now. I'm talking about myself, not the setup. Definitely don't want that. But I think doing this a second time, it would go way quicker. It's a very doable build. I don't want to scare anyone away. It's completely reasonable. You just got to be a little patient the first time around. But I'm so hyped to see this thing in action. It just feels like we entered a new age. Like, I've honestly just been sitting here just mesmerized watching this thing run. It's like sitting by a fire. It kind of captures you, except the fire is generating Bitcoin. This is mad weird, but mining Bitcoin just does something to you, man.
I started drinking espressos.
Oh, and kind of a major issue I ran into was one of the graphic cards I have here, the regular 3060. The manufacturers, NVIDIA, actually limited the hash rate on it because they don't want people using it to mine, so it's not running to its full potential, which sucks. There's workarounds for it, but I just haven't figured it out just yet. It's like a human with self-limiting beliefs. This graphic card is just not tapping into its full potential. Anyways, I'll see you guys in a few days to break down all of the numbers involved, how much all of this cost me, how much I make by then, what the future projections are going to be looking like, and my overall thoughts on the business. So it's been 2 days. The initial rig you saw me build cost $3,145, and that was making around $10–11 every 24 hours, and that's with one of the GPUs still being limited. On that same day that we set everything up, I ordered 3 RTX 3090 GPUs for a total of $9,815 and a 3080 for $2,400. I then found out that to power all these new, much more intense cards, I'm gonna need another power supply box, so I bought one of those for $350 and a splitter to get that on the motherboard for $11. All of that actually ended up coming in within these last 2-3 days, so I now have all of that running here, which was actually the biggest roadblock of this whole video.
In life, you have roadblocks. The key is to overcome it.
The motherboard perfectly handled 4 GPUs, but those last 2 were a pain. A solid 5–6 hour headache. Had to tweak the BIOS settings, get jiggy with the wiring, enable some power limiting, and just do all kinds of wacky troubleshooting activities. But anyways, we got that running. Total price of this build here is now $15,774, and it's currently making $60.22 per day. So if you divide that up, it's gonna pay itself off in 261 days. So that was actually a very conservative estimate. After optimizing and letting this rig run overnight, I was seeing numbers in the 80s, even well over $100 per day at times. So really, this could pay off as quickly as 150 days at the current Bitcoin price.
More pepperoni than I expected, and that's a good sign.
And after that, boom, $60 a day profit doing nothing, which sounds amazing. The ROI here is insane, but the big risk is the price of Bitcoin. If it falls 50%, I'm gonna be making half the amount in US dollars, and it would take 50% longer for this rig to be paid off, and I'll be sitting on a bunch of used GPUs that I bought at a ridiculous price. But the Bitcoin price could also double, and we'd be making twice as much, paying it off twice as fast.
Always, guys, respect the pump.
So end of the day, should you do this? It kind of depends on your financial situation. The barrier to entry is kind of high. You can build a less powerful setup, but then you might not be making all that much. And risk-wise, this is kind of similar to making an investment into crypto. It's all pretty risky. But if you believe in Bitcoin long-term, or at least are willing to make the bet that it will stay at its current level or higher for the next 200 days, and have money you are somewhat okay with potentially losing, I think this could be a very interesting opportunity to consider. Not a financial advisor though. And let's say in a year the price of Bitcoin drops significantly. By then the rigs are paid off, and as long as the amount you're making is more than the electricity cost, you're printing money, no Jerome. But that said, I will probably continue building up this whole mining thing, and we'll maybe make a follow-up video in a month or so to show you guys how things ended up going for me and what my setup is looking like by then, and maybe even buy another one. We're gonna have to run that one by the accounting team though, because I really just spent like 15,000 on this.
I am never gonna financially recover from this.
Oh man, this video better get some views, and the price of Bitcoin better stay at its current level. For now, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and have an amazing, beautiful, positive, blessed, thriving, productive rest of your day. Peace.